Hi guys, it's Bear. It is November 14th, 2014, and this is my 1 week on T video. It's been an interesting week. There's nothing really crazy has happened, but I just wanted to touch base, because my last video was kind of full of anxiety, nerves, am I gonna get my prescription, am I not, how do I feel about getting on T and so forth. So first, I'd like to talk about my experience down at the clinic, which again was really fantastic. I went to an after hours event that just happened to be about a week after my initial intake, where my doctor approved me to go ahead and move forward. And they have this after hours event the first Friday of every month. First and foremost, if you live in the Chicagoland area and you don't know what clinic I'm talking about, go ahead and message me, I'll let you know. If you have an informed consent clinic in your area, go this route, because I'm hearing a lot of people saying, that they're having to get letters from therapists and stuff to get on their hormone replacement therapy, and it's not like that at all at this place. They don't make you get a letter from a therapist. They don't make you convince anybody. It seems to be really the way less aggravating way to go. So let me backtrack. So last Friday night, drove down to the clinic, got there a little early, which was my goal. I don't like being late, and I didn't know if there was going to be a lot of people there, which would maybe cause me not to be able to get in and see a doctor. It turns out I was the second person there, so I had a lovely conversation with a woman named Jamie, who was, really open and very comforting. And yeah, the staff just took insanely good care of me. I was really insanely nervous, and they just settled me right down. Once the event started, they took us into a trans-only area, so anybody that had family with them, their family or friends had to stay out in the waiting area. And, they were trying to settle me down. Here, have some pizza. No, too nervous. Please don't give me food. But they were really awesome. They were just a really great group of people. And so if you are thinking about doing this at all, and there's a place in your area that you can go to that has an event going on, go to it, guys, because just having somebody say, you are not the only one and I have been there, is huge. They were just really great. So so the event itself and the staff that was running the event, or volunteers probably, who were running the event, were really fantastic. And if any of you end up seeing this video, thank you so much. Got in to see my doctor relatively early. Again, I was one of the first people there, and there weren't that many of us there, and not everybody was there to see a doctor. There was other events going on. So I went into my second appointment, which was with the hormone replacement therapy advocate, and here I need to correct what I said in my previous video. You do not need to go in and convince this person that you want to live as the opposite gender, or the gender that you were meant to be. It's not about convincing anybody. What they want to do is make sure that you are informed, hence informed consent. So they sit down, took maybe about 20 minutes, and they ran down the checklist. These things are going to happen. Do you understand that this is going to happen? Do you understand what that means about your body, about your life, etc.? She was really great. And then waited a little bit, to see my provider, and he came in and said, okay, let's do this. We went over my levels again. My starting testosterone is 8 and my starting estrogen is 120. So he started me, what he said was sort of the middle of the line as far as their starting dose for once a week injections. You have the option of doing every other week, in which case I would be doing, twice as much. Basically I'm doing a half dose every week. more people are finding that they don't kind of crash as much towards the end if they're doing it once a week. Whereas every other week, people are kind of reporting that towards the end of it, you know, they're not feeling as great. They're having a little bit of emotional issues. So we talked about that. Which one did I want to do? I want to do once a week. And, you know, he said, okay, your starting T is a little bit low, so we're going to start you on this kind of a middle dosage, which is half a milliliter, and that worked out to be 100 milligrams. So I'm on 100 milligrams a week as my starting dose. And then I went to Walgreens to get my prescription. That took a long time because they couldn't find the proper syringes, and I got a little bit aggravated, but I was, you know, not verbal about it or anything. I was just sort of anxious to get going. It's like, it's right here, like, you know, let's go, you know. Again, some of my anxiety about doing this was, is it going to happen? You know, things tend to not go right for me, and I was just waiting for that hammer to fall, like, oh, we don't have the prescription, oh, we don't have the right thing. And it seemed like it was going to go that way, because they came out and they said, we're sorry it's taking so long, but we can't find the right syringes. And, you know, I got a little anxious, but it worked out. And we went back over to the clinic, and I had a nurse walk me through doing my first injection, which I screwed up just a little bit. You have the choice between doing intramuscular injections and doing subcutaneous injections. Again, the tendency has been for intramuscular, where you just sort of get that needle pretty deep into the thigh and inject. It turns out, as they're learning more, that cis males absorb testosterone really well that way, but trans males don't. So in order to get a better absorption, they're now, you know, at least this doctor was recommending doing a subcutaneous injection, which means going into a sort of fatty area of the body, pulling up the skin, getting the needle in, releasing the skin, and then injecting. So you're not in the muscle tissue at all. You're basically injecting into just between your skin and your fat. She gave me an option. She said you could do the inner thigh, because that tends to be pretty fatty, and you can see it because you're doing your own. You know, the glutes is obviously also an option. Or you can do your belly. This area of my body, my inner thighs, are a real problem for me. I don't know if I would call it dysphoria, but I don't like to be touched here, and it's very, very sensitive skin. It's really thin, and so I opted to go for the belly. I left a wicked track mark. That's a week old, because I pulled up on the skin, got the needle in, and then couldn't depress the plunger, which the nurse told me, you know, it's pretty thick liquid, so you're probably going to want to let go of the skin and use both hands to depress. And of course, I was like, oh no, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to hold the skin and depress it with my one thumb, which I couldn't do. So first, I had a pinch of skin in my hand and was kind of struggling with the needle, which means I was moving it. And then I finally wisened up and listened to what the nurse had told me, let go of the skin, and when I let go of the skin it retracted and the needle popped out. I could actually see the tip of the needle. And in my anxiety, I didn't want to start over or anything. You know, I made the quick decision to just press the needle in again. So because of being slightly rough with myself, I gave myself a wicked bruise. But it's not infected or anything like that, it's fine. And that was it. You know, they said, okay, great, you know, make an appointment for your follow-up in a month. I only have a month's worth of testosterone. Again, the pharmacy literally just screwed up. They were supposed to give me X amount, and they only gave me 4 doses. So, whatever, that's fine, because I can get it refilled at the clinic when I go for my follow-up and get blood work done. So, that's that. You know, that was my experience getting testosterone and doing my first injection. Again, it was really great. It was really comforting. it's been a great week. I haven't really felt any changes, obviously. I mean, there can't be immediate changes, you know, from one dose of medication, and it's a half dose, really, that I started with the exception of a few things. One, I've had a few moments of sort of irrational anger where I was kind of mad about something that I shouldn't be mad about. And I thought to myself, like, oh, is this the testosterone? Is this what they're talking about? You know, because they say, oh, you know, testosterone, it can make you more aggravated, more impatient. And honestly, being honest with myself, I already have an issue with getting slightly impatient and slightly irrationally angry. And so I kind of just told myself, you know, settle down, remove myself from the situation, just sort of, you know, just, I need to take a few minutes, guys. I need to go and kind of have a moment by myself, you know, and I was fine. Aside from that, though, I've noticed the opposite has kind of been prevailing, is that I'm just sort of more relaxed. Whether that's because of testosterone in my system, I highly doubt it. I feel like maybe I just feel a little bit better having taken a step and pursued moving forward with transitioning. So there's that. Aside from that, the only other thing is that my voice, you know, I had my first shot on Friday night, and sometime Sunday, my voice started to get a little gravelly. I can't really explain it. It wasn't really cracking. It was kind of just gravelly, like I needed to clear my throat. But then I would clear my throat, and there wouldn't really be a lot there, you know, as far as like any kind of phlegm. I did have a cold the week prior, so I thought maybe this is just sort of me still recovering from having a cold. It didn't feel that way, though. It felt like something different. So it could have been, you know, the hormones saying hello to my vocal cords and giving them a little bit of growth. It's hard to say. That lasted maybe Sunday, Monday of last week. I did my second shot a day early this week. I did it yesterday, and had immediate, almost cracking of my voice. So maybe that's gonna be the first thing that I get affected. You know, I don't know. It is exciting though to feel some sort of impact of the hormone, because aside from that, I really haven't had any. And everybody's experience is different. Some people say that, you know, like they don't really feel any different. Some people say that they feel it right away every time. Maybe it needs to build up in my system. I don't know. As far as the timeline, the first change that they talk about is actually body hair, more thickening of the existing body hair and some new growth on the face or on the body. And that can be any time in the first 6 months. And then after that, muscle growth depending on how much you work out. And then after that they talk about your voice changing. That can be anywhere between, I think they said like 2 and 6 months. But I'm hearing different things from different people. Some people are saying it started right away, and within 5 weeks their voice started to actually drop. So who knows, maybe that'll be the first thing for me. That'd be great, because I feel like my voice, while it's deep for a female, it gives me away. I'll pass as a male, and then speak, and you see the instant change, and they'll start calling me miss or ma'am, you know. Passing is a whole nother thing, subject for another video maybe, and how I'm dealing with, you know, passing and dressing and so forth. Video's getting a little long. I don't want to keep making 15-minute videos. I'm sorry. But thank you for listening, and that's been my experience my first week on T. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one.